I had to do some tinkering before we got started today because, as you guys might remember, we recently ran the computer through an operating system reinstall, literally start from scratch, and a lot of settings had to get tweaked. But luckily, everything is tweaked and ready to go, and I hope you guys are excited, because I definitely am. Okay, I'll give folks another minute here to just kind of work their way in. So, my expectations. Hey, Bun Bun, what's up? No, hey, Bun. My expectations for this route, the final route of the game. What I would like, what I would really, really like, is to see more of the narrators. Why is the narrator the way? Well, I have gender profiled her as a she. Maybe not. Don't know. I mean, there's a lot of Yuri going on here, so I'm just thinking let's all be girls. But I would like to finally get a reveal on who the narrator is. Kaboom that never runs out and everything that gets touched by it dies miserably. Gotta love it, gotta love it. So far to this point, the narrator has given us so many tastes. Hey, Libertino, what's up? So many tastes of sentience, of awareness. I really believe, and of course I have never played an Ebby game before, so I don't know what to expect from Ebby. But I would genuinely like for this game to end in a reveal of the narrator. I would like to meet them. I would like to meet them, and I would like to find out why they are the way that they are. If that doesn't happen, it's okay. But I would really like for that to happen. Oh, hi. Why? And on that note, let's get this show on the road. The final route of It Gets So Lonely Here from Yandere Jam 2023. The Village. Let's go. So, you want to go to the village? Good idea. Let's see what further trials await you there. This night is far from over, as much as you might wish it was, and there is still much and more to discover. I wonder what will happen next. You follow the path which leads to the village, supporting yourself on weary, aching limbs which feel ready at a moment's notice to snap at the knee beneath the burden of your weight. The soles of your feet are screaming at you. You need to lie down, and quickly. You only hope, as you continue to run, that you will find a suitable residence in which to rest at the village. Yes, bitch, I'm gonna steal the village's food. Hey, Dee! You do not know what will await you at the village, but you have visions as you run of a quaint, scenic settlement, all thatched cottages with sloping roofs. Surely there will be a kindly peasant who will be willing to put you up, a young runaway, for a few nights. You can imagine, too, the face of this kindly peasant from the fairy tales you read in abundance as a small child. She will be broad-shouldered and ruddy-faced, with dull brown hair crammed beneath a cap. Her arms will be sturdy from many years of washing clothes and milking cows, and she will be kind to you and compassionate, like a mother. You do not know what mothers are like. You hardly ever spoke to yours. You are only guessing. You are not a complete fool, however, despite your tendency to daydream, and you do have a few reservations. peasants do not, as you know from your voracious reading, have much money, nor do they have much food. It might be hard to convince a resident of the village. Aw, much love. Even the kindly washerwoman of your fantasies, to take in a complete stranger. Still, you must try. That is all you can do, really. So, you run to the village. It takes some time before you finally emerge from the woods, but finally you manage it. How much time, you ask? I cannot answer that. Did I not say that time had begun to lose all its meaning? Something I will definitely say that is, even though a lot of this dialogue repeats for each route, I like that it still has enough snark to be enjoyable. I find that very refreshing. It ensures that the dialogue in and of itself is not boring. So, there's that. The forest is behind you now, at least, and all the awful nightmares which dwelt within it. Speaking of unpredictable, VN Yandere's friendly reminder that as soon as I get my hands on Lightless definitions... Oh, thank you. I forgot. Thank you for the reminder. I appreciate that. Whoops. I'll definitely DM me immediately. Well, no, because you will probably be in... Fuck. Send me a DM that I will see as soon as stream is over, and I will get those definitions to you while you're asleep. I'm sorry. It is still cold, though, and still foggy. It's still dark, too. Diffoob? Oh, Lila. Well, like I said, if you have to go to bed during the stream, which you might, if you do, no big deal. But just make sure to do it before you crash. And I know Bunbud's gonna do his thing. The sun has yet to rise. You can see the moon more clearly now, though, as it hangs above your head, round as any pearl or orb or crystal ball. The moonlight shines down upon the village, nestled among the hills like a diorama. Hope anew bubbles within you. You have finally made it. Surely not but your salvation awaits you. You follow the winding dirt path to the village, looking this way and that. Right. Yeah, all will forget. You're not wrong, Deej. But your hope, such a precious, fragile thing, soon begins to fade. The village up close does not look half as welcoming as you imagined. There are cottages, yes, but they are in a state of disrepair. There are holes in the roofs and holes in the windows. Most of the doors are tightly shut, but others are gaping open. The kitchens beyond them even darker than the night sky which shrouds you. There are no lights on in any of the windows, and neither can you see any people, insomniacs like you, at them. You cannot hear anything either, which is very haunting, I might add, beyond the sound of your own footsteps and the low, mournful sighing of the wind. Nice, Frick. That's a good one. The village is quite quiet, eerily so. It is immediately obvious, even to a naive girl such as yourself, that something terrible must have befallen this village. Thanks. You know before you try your luck at one of the houses that nobody will answer you. There will be no kindly red-armed washerwoman to welcome you here, no matter how much you wish for it. Nice, Bun Bun. Apples are exclusive and expensive as fuck, not wrong. Androids are cool, fuck apples, yeah! Hell yeah. Bun, you are my new best friend. Yes, D is a major Trekkie, so you guys will definitely bond over that. I grew up with a lot of Star Trek, but for whatever reason, I don't get that reference and I feel kind of embarrassed. I'm sure my mother is rolling in her grave as we speak. But that does not stop you from wishing regardless. Your knuckles rap smartly against the wooden door. Your efforts soon prove, however, to be in vain. There is nobody here to hear your entreaties. How very sad. Oh, I'm just realizing that there is actual knocking taking place. Let me do something about that. My bad. You try another door, then another, but the result is the same, regardless of how many doors you rap upon. Nobody answers you, and how could they? There is nobody there. One might even say that nobody came. Once again, you have found yourself all alone. At least, you've found some dwellings in which you can rest your weary head. And yes, I know that's, blah, blah, blah. I do not know how do I manage to always do it. And yes, I know that sentence is so going to get taken out. Ooh. I'll give you a pass on this one, yeah. Probably a good call. Will you utilize one of these cottages for your purposes? Nobody is here. You might as well. But no, an abandoned cottage is not what you are looking for. You would far rather have companionship, would you not? Bravely, you swallow your tears. You wipe your eyes with the back of your arm in a well-practiced motion, then inhale. You square your shoulders, and you keep on going. Surely the village cannot be completely deserted. Hang on. There we go. There must be one person here, at the very least, who can help you. There we go. As I've pulled a few things up. That should help. Can you guys hear the footsteps? I hope. And before the narrator is actually the protagonist themselves, but like 20 years ago. Ooh! How well is it balanced? Should I pull it down again? Should I make it lower? I'm nervous about when the music comes back. I don't want you guys to get, like, blasted. Cool. There must be one person here, at the very least, who can help you. That is what you are thinking as you resume your search. You flit from cottage to cottage. Nice word. You flit from cottage to cottage with precious little to show for your determination, until you make yet another discovery. This village with its squat thatched house... This village with its squat thatched cottage... God, that is a tongue twister. It is a nice word. Let me try that one more again. Jeez. Ooh, we have music now. This village, with its squat thatched cottages bathed in the moon's glow, has a church. Oh no. Oh no.
And to oblivion you go, demon!
It's so appropriate that our story ends here. I'm dying. Oh no! Oh no! Oh yeah. Hang on, guys. I have to do something real quick. Oh god. I'm sending a screenshot to Sinner. Just hang on a minute. Oh god. Oh god. Oh fuck. Oh. Oops, sorry guys. That was probably loud. I apologize. This is great. There we go. Oh man. Oh man. Meme chat, meme chat. You managed to see a pair of glowing red eyes inside the church, compelling you to go on and stomp on the tomb that's bleeding. Oh no! Oh fucking hell! Let's fucking go! Oh man. Oh man. Fuck. This fiddle. Shit! I can't get through it. Oh. Question. You're right. I do believe the Dev is a female. Their name is Ebihime, which I believe that's a feminine the word I'm looking for. You know what I'm talking about. Honorific. Took me a minute. Ebihime. Hime, that's a yes. Yeah, so I do believe our Dev is female. It would make sense. Okay. Oh, I can't. Oh, God. Oh, okay. Right? Bitch, I'm a queen. Come on. This village, with its squat, thatched cottages, bathed in the moon's glow, as a church. This is amazing. This is amazing. Alright, cool. Which means you get to, inherit the kingdom when I die. That works. Oh, fuck. This is gold. And it's gold for all the reasons that I know the dev did not intend, which just makes it so much better. Oh. Well, of course it has a church. The village. I can't. Oh, man. There's gonna be a lot of this, I'm sure. I can't wait to meet who we see inside. I'm very excited by this prospect. Fine, I'll do it again. Oh. Oh. Clippers, be ready because you're going to be getting tons of them this stream. I'm certain of it. I'm going to need a lower point total on that one. Okay, can be done. Totally fixable. Damn, have you already blown through your points already? Wow. Being bombarded with references today with the AF references and tomorrow with the Mario movie. Oh, cool. You're going to go see it again? Wow. It must be good. Okay. Jesus. While I'm at it, you know what? Actually, on second thought, I will save that for break. So, disregard. I will take care of that. Oof. Oh no. Yeah, you are. Yeah, I can fix that for you. I'll drop it down to like 100 or 200. Okay. Well, of course it has a church. The villagers who once dwelt here were not godless. Man, there are so many tongue twisters in here. Well, of course it has a church. The villagers who once dwelt here were not godless heathens. Not that their faith did them all that much good in the end. Yeah, Greg's like absolutely drowning in channel points. It's a shame there's no mechanic where you can like gift channel points to people because like Greg has so many at this point. Still, the sight of the church soothes your... God damn. The sight of the church soothes your overtaxed heart. You were so focused on your fantasies of a kindly washerwoman taking you in, you did not pause to entertain the fancy of a kindly nun doing much the same. Imagine I shoehorn a church into crossover story because plot. I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't mind if you used the church BG. I can hook you up with it if you want it. Imagine I tell you to do it. Yeah, I'd be. I'll check with him, but I'm sure he would have no problem with that, especially since he's not modding anymore. All hope is not lost. You approach the church, which seems to tower over you, despite it being so humble. The church is a small one, but it is stout and sturdy. It must be, for it has withstood centuries, forever standing sentinel on this hill, like a relic from a bygone era. OCW did it. They did? We did? He did? What? I don't recall that. I feel so... Oh! That's right. Wait. Right? Oh. Brain. You just error 4'd me. I don't... I might remember that, but I'm not sure. Fuck. Right. That's right. I remember now. Sinner also provided another background on that ending. So, yes, that's right. I remember. The church is a small one, but it is stout and sturdy. It must be, for it has withstood centuries, forever standing sentinel on this hill, like a relic from a bygone era. Wait, what? Really? Huh. I'm gonna have to look into that. I completely forgot. The church does not have any stained glass windows, but it does not need them. Yes, it does. It needs one by the altar. What? Even without more luxurious trappings, the church still exudes an aura of dignified solemnity. The church doesn't have any stained glass windows, despite there blatantly being stained glass windows in the picture. Shh. Oh god, now I know how to tickle you whenever I get to visit you guys. I can do it without even placing my hand on you. I just need to mutter the word church in your ear, yeah. You're not wrong. You're so not wrong. The stone building is fringed by a sizable graveyard, one which accompanies the rest of the hilltop, and some of its sloping sides. The graves which have been planted by generations of wardens are hewn with a similar stone to that which the church's walls are made of. Some of the gravestones are shaped like lozenges, while others are shaped like crosses. Like lozenges, that's a hell of a description. A handful of headstones are even shaped like angels, though these are few and far between. There are very few people in a village such as this one who can afford such luxurious final resting places. It is. It really is. You look at the tombstones with an almost childlike curiosity, forgetting in your examination of the visceral, heart-rending fear which gripped you as you ran through the forest. You are out of the woods now, and you have, subconsciously, already begun to relax. You try to read the names hewn in the myriad tombstones, but it is dark, and you are tired, and some of these graves are very, very old indeed. You strain your eyes, but you do not have much luck in this endeavor. Oh well. Such superfluous details are not important. You eventually tire of examining the graves and turn. This graveyard is an expansive one, unusually so, given the village itself is so small. How can it boast so many corpses? And there is much to explore. You walk about the perimeter of the church, casting your gaze first here, then there, then everywhere, consumed as you are by your immense, all-encompassing curiosity. And as you do, see her. Oh, hi. You are my favorite. I like you. What voice are you going to end up with? Oh, is that who she looks like? I don't know who that is. She looks like an ordinary girl, small and scrawny, just like yourself. But she is much, much more than her unremarkable appearance might suggest. For some moments you observe her, hiding all the while in the shadow cast by the church, like a furtive lizard clinging against a rocky edifice to shroud yourself from the sun. Right! Oh, shit! Yes, she does! She totally does! You're dead right, Libitina, she looks just like her! Oh! Oh, yeah! Oh, fuck yeah! Frick. Oh, she does look like her. Oh, wow. How cool is that? There is no sunlight here, though. With a shovel, yeah. There is only the night sky, and... Hey, Zoe! What's up, guys? Hope y'all are doing good. Uh-oh. There is only the night sky, and the stars, and the moon. Beneath the moon's light, a silvery implement the girl is clutching shimmers. It takes you a few moments to see what it is that the girl is clutching in her hands. Why, it's twice as big as she is. It is not until you see her manipulate it, its sharp edge biting into the earth, that you understand. It is a shovel. This girl is standing in an isolated corner of the churchyard late at night, and she is digging a grave. Well, You suppose she could always be digging a hole for the sake of it, but her work seems much too precise for this to be the result of mere whimsy. It is hard for you to see her face, given the distance between the pair of you, but her posture is one that speaks of supreme concentration. She moves slowly, mechanically, like a woman on a mission, driving the end of her shovel into the earth, over and over. I think I know what voice I'm going to give her, actually. Unless I am given some reason to doubt this. I think I know what I'm going to do with this. Her motions are regular enough to be repetitive. Nice. There is something hypnotic, almost, in the manner in which she attends to this task. Should you risk interrupting her? Do you dare? You get the feeling that she would not appreciate it. The shovel in her hands, meanwhile, is rather hefty. If she wished it, she could cause you no small amount of damage with it. Cold anxiety makes your skin prickle. You do not know if you should risk speaking to her when she, in her dark cloak with her shovel, looks so very strange. But what do you have left to lose? You have come this far. It would be folly to turn back now. It is with this thought in your mind that you decide to approach this strange girl. Your footsteps are quiet. You've grown accustomed to slinking around like a cat, but they are not quiet enough. The girl's senses must be finely tuned because she blinks. Yeah, I know exactly what voice I'm giving you. Then she turns. Your eyes meet. Frick. Your eyes meet, and once they do, you feel your breath catch in your throat. You did not have a clear view of the girl before, concealed as you were in the shadows, but now she is looking at you. You can tell that she is pretty. Her skin is very smooth, and her hair, though obscured by a dark hood, is very fair. Her eyes, meanwhile, are a clear, cool blue, like ice. Those eyes of hers, which are large with unease, are fringed by very long, fair eyelashes. She looks as though she stepped out of the pages of a picture book. She is simply too perfect to belong in this world. Beyond flesh, beyond perfection. Perhaps she is some kind of vision, a waking dream, a hallucination. But no, she is none of those things. The shovel she is clutching in her hands looks solid enough, its pointed tip glittering wickedly in the moonlight. You steel yourself, expecting perhaps some sort of outburst. But the tension soon drains from the girl's slender shoulders. A specific goal. Her fingers, which once were gripping the handle of her shovel tightly, relax. Her lips curve upwards at the edges. She is smiling, and what a smile it is. It is transformative. When she smiles, Welcome back, Zoe.
To oblivion you go, demon!
Ooh. Frick. Oh, man. Oh, I know what voice you're getting. You're getting the most demonic I can imagine. Yeah, now this is happening. That shovel coming to your face. This is, I'm absolutely, I'm gripped right now. This is, all right, on with it. Yes, yes. When she's, ooh. When she smiles, she looks radiant, angelic almost. Hers is a smile that is so suffused with light that your eyes begin to prickle from it. You are so relieved, you almost feel as if you could cry. It would not be the first time you have wept during this night, and neither would it be too surprising if you did. You have been through a lot. You must be exhausted. The girl holding the shovel seems to realize this, because she bridges the distance between you cautiously, as one might approach a skittish cat. Yes! I love it when VNs do this before they give the dialogue. That doesn't fit what I wanted to do, though. I mean, it could. Nah, I can make it work. Same. Yeah. No, I am definitely best, like, between 11 and 3 a.m. Then she says in a rough voice, which does not match her dainty appearance, well, she does live in a rural village. God damn it. Well, she does live in a rural village. What were you expecting? Shut up, Frick. Asshole. Cállate. We'll try this. We'll try it and see if it works. Oh, it's so good to see another person. I was afraid I was the only person left alive. The only one in the whole world. Doesn't fit. Doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. I don't like that it doesn't fit. We'll keep going as is. We'll see. Almost. Actually, you have issues with the library? Libitina, what do you think? Do you think that fits at this point? Shut up, Frick. Libetina's so completely versed in visual novels, and I think among those of us that are here, he's probably the most versed. I think you're making too big an assumption to give her that voice. I'm inclined to agree. Okay. The way it said rough, despite dainty appearance, and the way it said she does live in a rural village, the voice I'm inclined to give her is probably not great either. But it'll make this funny. Yeah, let's give that a shot. Let's try that. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting because I'm going to be back and forth from my mic. Oh, so good to see another person. I was afraid I was the only person left alive. Only one in the whole world. You were thinking Allie? Nailed it. Let's go. Okay. Even better. God, this is going to be great. Oh, this is quite the effusive greeting. Her introductory speech is riddled with exclamation marks. That's kind of where, that's where my brain kind of concocted things, so let's go. God, Jesus Christ, what is happening? I'm too excited, I'm getting all tongue-tied. Her introductory speech is riddled with exclamation marks. She is rather more personable than her apparel would make one suggest. I don't like that phrasing. Cheers. Yeah, and see, the more details we're getting, I feel like that's a good fit. Cool, that works. You, a well-bred young lady, cannot help but feel overwhelmed. It is your turn now to be on your guard. Anxiously, you observe the girl with the shovel, and you ask her what she means. What happened? Oh, do you not know? There is an awful lot you do not know. So much, in fact, it would fill a whole encyclopedia. Bitch, quit calling me stupid. No, a whole library. Bitch, quit calling me stupid. You shake your head, ashamed at your ignorance, and the girl frowns. You mustn't be from around these parts. I guess I should have known. This village is a small one, and everybody knows everybody else. The girl's expression falls. At least, they used to, back when there was still people to know. That ain't the case. See, there you go. We got the ain't. It's perfect. That ain't the case now, though. Not after the plague. Oh. There was a plague. That would certainly explain why the village, when you walked through it, was so quiet. Did everybody else succumb to this mysterious illness? That's right. It's just me here now. I've not seen another human being in a long, long time. It gets so lonely here. Oh, here we go with this again. Now, that is an interesting turn of phrase. It catches inside of your head like a burr. Have you heard it before? You do not have much time to ponder this, however, because the girl takes a step towards you. Oh, where are my manners? They must have gone rusty after being on my own for so long. My apologies, miss. You look like you've come a long way. You said you were a traveler, yes? and your hands are very cold, just like ice. Would you like to come inside? Maybe have something warm to eat and to drink? My home's small, I'm afraid. My food ain't nothing fancy, but I'd be more than willing to share. Look at all those N endings on those words. Yeah, no, we nailed this. We nailed this. Let's go. Wait, why did you do that again? It's not every day another girl stops by, especially not one as pretty as yourself. I'm feeling really I'm feeling very blessed. The girl laughs. The girl. The girl laughs, a carefree, airy sort of laugh, which does not match your initial impression of her. What? Oh, it's been a while. It's been a while. And that's probably the only one of those I'll get. I'll be shocked if I don't get a noise complaint. You thought, when you saw her among the graves, that she would be more distant somehow, and more mysterious. Perhaps you were mixing her up with somebody else. Oh. I see you, Abby. I see you. This is interesting. This is an interesting development. I'm telling you, we will meet the narrator. Mark my words. We will meet the narrator. You are still unsure if you can trust this girl, but her invitation is an appealing one. It is much more appealing, certainly, than spending the night outdoors in the cold, kipping on the graves. Fair enough. What are you? A romantic poet? Oh, fuck yes, of course, Libitina, absolutely. 100%, there's no doubt in my mind. Definitely. We're gonna sneeze, and she's gonna be like, the plague! And throw us in a grave, on the spot. Please. You make a show of pondering the girl's invitation. At the very least, you do not want to appear too eager. But your acquiescence is, alas, an inevitability. Why would you ever refuse her? She is the first friendly face you've seen all night. Without her, you would be all alone. Your hostess leads you to a small, humble home located but a stone's throw away from the church, built in the shadows of a twisted, towering sycamore. The girl's home is in such a state, it seems a folly to even call it a home. Hovel would, to you, be the more appropriate descriptor. But when your hostess leads you inside, her eyes alive, and she says, "Here we are, home sweet home," you don't have the heart to tell her that you don't find her home very homey or very sweet. That would be incredibly rude. As a guest, you ought to be more appreciative. Oh Lord, yeah, it does. Half-heartedly, you look around your newfound surroundings. The ceiling is supported by wooden joists, and it is perilously low. Not so much that you are in danger of bumping your head, but just enough to feel claustrophobic. There is a fire in the corner, though it is not consigned to a grate. The fire instead is blazing in the open, a circle of logs set alight, like a scene from a witch's kitchen. Above the fire hangs a silvery pot, suspended from one of the wooden eaves. Other objects of interest are hung from the eaves, iron implements you take to be cooking utensils, various herbs, and strips of meat left to cure. The smell of cooking fills the air, mingled with the sharp, sour scent of unwashed bodies. You. How, you wonder, does your hostess clean herself? You do not see a bathtub anywhere. She just got a whole lot less interested. Perhaps she does not possess one. The girl's home is unremarkable in every regard, but it is, you suppose, better than nothing. At least there's a roof over your head and food to put in your belly. Cats, man. Hi. The girl looks to the pot, suspended over the fire, which she gives a stir with the ladle. Then she brings the ladle to her lips to taste whatever concoction she has brewing within it. You can only hope that she is not like the weird sisters from that famous play, brewing a broth with fenny snake fillets. Or fillets, either way. I see you, game. I see you. Just like, oh my god. Hey, I see you, D. Oh, now I see what happened. Okay. Took me a minute. Yes, I think this is just about done, the girl says to nobody in particular. She sets the ladle down back into the pot, then looks to you and smiles. You want something? It looks as though you've come quite a long way, and you must be hungry. These words are like music to your ears, even more divine than the trumpets of God's most loyal angels. You are so hungry, you could eat a horse. Go ahead, narrator, pick on me for that turn of phrase, even though you used it first. Knew it. Not that there are any horses in the immediate vicinity. You express your interest to the hostess, who smiles in response. I thought you'd like the sound of that. Just give me a few moments. Well played, Frick. Well played. Oh, Scowl, what's the difference? I have cheesecake and you don't. Your hostess retrieves 2 earthenware bowls from a cupboard with rickety hinges, into which she pours 2 hefty helpings of whatever it is she is cooking. This she serves with bread, which is so hefty it could be used as a murder weapon. I see where you're going, but what? It's not much, I'm afraid. It's only soup and bread. It should take the edge off your appetite, though. Right? You thank your hostess for her hospitality, your stomach rumbling all the while. The soup does not look like anything you would typically consume, But the soup's poor presentation does not dissuade you. It is true enough that people eat first with their eyes, but when one is hungry enough, one becomes obliging enough to eat almost anything. Why else do you think that people, when stranded upon desert islands, will resort to cannibalism? Yeah. Humans are creatures of necessity. I see you, narrator. Don't think I don't see you. I see you. That is not an accident. At all. Very interesting. You like to wrap yourselves up in pretensions, but in actuality, you are not much better than animals. Thanks for the gutter, Nanny. You are so hungry, your stomach is achingly empty, that you certainly descend upon your food like an animal. Your teeth glint, your incisors gleam, and soon you have consumed all that your hostess has offered you. Your hostess watches while you eat, and she giggles once you have finished. Did you enjoy that? Oh, you catch your hostess's gaze, suddenly abashed. Ah, you were so hungry, you failed to account for her judgment. Now, you have some food in your belly, though, and you have been suitably warmed. Your old self-consciousness is returning. Did you not make a fool out of yourself? You demur shyly, looking at your lap, fearful all the while what your hostess might think of you. You do not want her to take against you. Fortunately for you, however, and for your fragile ego, your hostess is not a judgmental sort. The fuck you are. You're doing fine. I'm loving this. This is great. Keep the commentary coming. Happy stuff. She is not like the girls you grew up with. Oh, this again. Well, glad you enjoyed it. It's nice to see my food being appreciated so heartily. I know I'm not the best, but I've been practicing for a long while. I used to cook for my father all the time, you see. This remark catches your attention. Quizzically, you look at your hostess, your abashment over your animalistic eating habits suspended. What happened to her father? Seems a grim thing to contemplate after having eaten, but didn't your hostess mention something about a plague? She is. I'm just now noticing that. Nice. Yes, your hostess says, her voice soft now and serious. That's right. There was a plague. And what of the villagers? What of her father? They're all gone now. Gone? Yes. You see, your hostess rearranges herself upon her chair, one slender leg folded over the other. Then she begins her tale in earnest. My family has a history. We've lived here for centuries by the church, so as we can tend to the graveyard. Ah, so this abode is centuries old, then. It would certainly explain the dirt. My father used to prepare bodies for burial back when he was alive. He built the coffins, he dug the graves, and he lowered the coffins into the dirt. I know it might sound like an awful job, but somebody's got to do it. There's no sense averting our eyes from death, not when it happens to the best of us. It's a noble profession, one that's been handed down in our family for generations. Interesting take. My father's father was a grave digger. So was my father's father's father. And my father's 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 father. Digging graves is in our blood. It's who we are. My. That was a surprisingly pretty speech, coming from a girl who lives in the countryside. A girl who is without much in the way of education. It is apparent just to listen to her, and the way she slurs her syllables together, that she's never had any elocution lessons, not like you. There is a determination, however, to her, and a pride in her genealogy, which gives her a respectable aura. You cannot help but be impressed. So you ask your hostess, does that make her one in a long line of gravediggers? Yes. Your hostess, the gravedigger, says. That's about right, though I was never supposed to be a gravedigger myself. It's not a woman's profession. That's what everybody says. My father didn't mind that, though. He told me everything he knew, then some. I might be a woman, but I've plenty of upper body strength. I can dig a grave just as well as my father could, without breaking a sweat. To the despair of my mother up in heaven, I'm sure. I'm sure if she were still alive, she'd rather I focus on more feminine pursuits like basket weaving or sewing, better attract a suitor. Not that that would do much good now. There's nobody around who'd court me, not for miles and miles. And what happened to her mother? Narrator, you know the answer to this. Oh. She died when I was very young, during childbirth. I was only 5 years old. Sibling, okay. Oh, well, you can relate to her, at least upon this point. Your parents are not dead, at least not as far as you are aware, but you have not seen them in an awfully long time. I see you, Frick. They sent you away as soon as you were old enough, and they never once bothered to check up on you. And for many years, there have been no letters, nor any visits. You offer the gravedigger your condolences. You do not know if they will help, but you feel like you cannot say nothing. That would seem heartless. The gravedigger, however, does not seem too upset by this turn of events, because she smiles, albeit somberly. It's all right. It was ages ago. I don't remember her too well, and never really had the luxury of sitting around feeling sorry for myself. I had too much work to do. Around the house, you ask? Well, that too. I was the oldest child, so it was my job, after my mother died, to manage the sweeping and the cooking. Oh, and the looking after all my siblings, too. You blink, intrigued, then glance about your hostess's humble lodgings. You do not see any siblings in the immediate vicinity. It's because they're all fucking dead. We've talked about this. Where could they be? The gravedigger must have noticed your roving eyes. You are not being exactly subtle, because she shakes her head. I had siblings, 2 younger brothers, both gone now. Oh, you should have known. You apologize to the gravedigger for your lack of tact, but she does not seem upset by this faux pas. Don't apologize. It's not your fault. My brothers weren't long for this world anyway. The youngest died when he was still a babe, and the oldest, well, he died before he reached double digits. Damn. Oh man, well, I'm wishing to everyone in your village. Oh my god. I was upset about it at the time, of course, but I've come to terms with it. Life's a fleeting thing in this wicked old world. It's something you learn in this trade. digging graves, I mean. I've dug graves for the elderly and the infirm, but I've also dug graves for young babes still in their swaddling clothes. That's the nature of death. It comes for all of us in the end, no matter how old we are, no matter how much money we have, no matter how good or how bad we've been. That's the great equalizer. Sure is. Or so I've heard. A chill creeps down your spine as you listen to your hostess's speech. She's not wrong, but the inherent mortality of all humankind is not something you wish to contemplate. It is too disturbing. For the longest of times, my family was a small one. It was just my father and me, but that was fine. It was how I liked it. I was very happy, even if our lives weren't the best. I've never had any fancy clothes to wear, and we can't dine on the finest of foods. In the grand scheme of things, we ain't anything that special. But I've always felt otherwise. I thought that I was blessed. We knew hardship, of course, and famine, but that's just the way life is around here. When food supplies were low, we always helped one another out. I had my father, but I also had the rest of the village. We all looked after one another, and things always worked out in the end. At least, they did. Until the plague happened. Yes, she had mentioned the plague. You'd been wondering when she was going to return to that topic. You suppose that the plague is the reason that the village, as you traversed it, was so very empty. You'd suppose right. Plague tore through the village. I don't remember when. Feels like it was a while ago, but maybe it wasn't all that long after all. Feels like I've been on my own for centuries, but... Your hostess's eyes begin to cloud over. She looks as though she is entrenched within her own memories. What could she be remembering? I know she just said she feels like she's been alone for centuries. And I know that's probably supposed to be an over-exaggeration. But you have never seen a plague before, though you've heard of them in your history lessons. Your history professor was quite enthusiastic about the subject. She talked about piles of dead bodies stacked up on the streets and stacked up in wooden carts come to take them away, with no shortage of aplomb. New word. Interesting. I gotta look that one up. That's intriguing. Self-confidence or assurance, especially in a demanding situation. Okay. Yeah, that's a new one. That's one thing that I loved about this visual novel is I've been learning words from it, and oh my god, we are so far past the hour mark. So we are going to go ahead and take a break here. She was a strange woman, your history professor. The plague came on very suddenly. There was no warning. Well, okay, I thought we were quoting our professor. Disregard. Also, I have water now. Too many tongue twisters. The plague came on very suddenly. There was no warning. One day, everyone was fine. The next. Yeah, that just kind of gives credence to the fact that we will likely end up in an early grave by sneezing. They were all dead. It is with no small amount of anxiety that you eye the gravedigger. Then you ask worriedly, surely they could not all have died? Is that not an exaggeration? Death by snoo-snoo. Yeah, snoo-snoo! Oh god, what's the quote? What is it? The mind is willing, but the body is fleshy and weak. I forget the Brannigan line, but it's one of my favorites. Also, welcome, Tundra. Glad to see ya. I'm loving this shit. I am loving it. Oh, if only. I wish I was exaggerating, but it's the truth. Honest to God. People in the village died, one after the other. Just like that. Thank you, Libitina. Yep, that sounds familiar. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Good shit. I saw what that plague does to people firsthand. My father was one of the first few people who caught it. I think one of the bodies which came through that we buried must have had it. Not that I know for certain, I'm just guessing. Still, my father didn't have an easy time of it. His skin turned all gray and clammy, and he complained of a horrible fever. There were night sweats and stomach cramps. And then there were the boils. The boils? Pustules. They were the size of eggs, and they were full of pus. When they burst, it stunk. The whole house was full of it. Stink of death. Bubonic, yep. So that puts this village... That dates this village, interestingly. Wise woman of the village came to see if she could be of any use, but it was of no good. My father was too far gone already. She took one look at him, lying on his deathbed, and she shook her head. She said she didn't want to get any closer. Can't say I blame her. It was a ghastly sight. I didn't appreciate it at the time, though. Felt like she was turning her back on us. I wished her ill. I remember that after she left. Until a few days passed, she fell sick too. And then I felt bad for cursing her. Couldn't help but worry if it was all my fault. It's silly, I know, but... The gravedigger closes her eyes. She seems to squeeze her lids together until her lashes melt like flecks of fallen snow. Her shoulders, which are very slender, are shaking. She looks as though she might at any moment fall apart. Wasn't long after that the rest of the village fell ill. They all had the same symptoms as my father: clammy skin, fever, and the boils. Right? The boils grew, then they burst, and then they died in screaming, stinking agony. My father died too, only 3 days after he fell ill, but I think even that was 3 days too many. No, certainly not, yeah. I didn't want my father to die, of course. I did everything I could to help him, but it was all pointless. None of my herbal salves had any impact. I couldn't make a blind bit of difference. All I did was stand about his bedside telling him it'd be all right, till his eyes sank into his skull like 2 black stones, and his mouth dried out. During that last day before he died, he might have been a corpse already. He didn't look at me, didn't speak to me. He just lay in bed with his eyes closed, groaning. I never wished any ill on my father before. During those moments, The gravedigger squeezes her hands, which are resting upon her black-clad lap, into fists. She trembles. Then, in a voice throbbing with awful emotion, she says, "I wish he'd just died." Well, yeah, I'm thinking the same thing, like what? Well, based on her anecdote, it does not sound like she had overly long to wait. I wonder if she would consider that a silver lining. No, perhaps not. The gravedigger is still shaking. She will not cry, will she? You hope not. Awkwardly, you look at the gravedigger. You are not sure how to soothe her, but you know you must make some sort of an effort, even if it is a token one. You shift upon your chair, which feels very cold and hard beneath your thighs. Then you say very softly that you are sorry. It is not much, but it is all you can think of saying. You had thought initially that your situation was comparable to that of the gravedigger, but now you can see that this is not the case. Her suffering has far outstripped your own. Not that suffering is a competition, of course. Your apology feels inadequate to your ears, largely because it is. The gravedigger seems not to mind it. She is very big-hearted, that girl, to smile at you so, no matter how foolish you might be. Do you really deserve such kindness? Oh, again with apologies. It's all right, like I said. You didn't cause any of this. I'm not upset at you. I just recounting what happened is all. I do wonder, though. I never feel sick myself. I thought I was going to die, so I'd already prepared for the Reaper to come take me away. But maybe he wasn't interested. Maybe he'd already satiated his appetite on all the others. That, or maybe he thought he'd have to leave me alive for practicality's sake. With my father gone. Sorry, got a text message. With my father gone, who else would tend to the dead? I was the only person left by the end of it all, so I had to bury the people in the village. They're all resting peacefully now under the earth, where the plague can't reach them. It already took them, sweetheart, I'm sorry to say, but it's kind of already reached them. The rats will tend to the bodies, that's what they're good at. True story. Yeah. On the one hand, I'm happy for them. They were able to escape from all their suffering. When I think about all the people I've lost, though, rats, man. The gravedigger tenses. Then she sniffs. When I think about the kindly washerwomen who helped me scrub the mud and the dirt from my clothes. Aha, so this village did have its fair share of washerwomen after all. It would seem your earlier insistence upon this particular point was not without merit. Jesus. And the handsome young farmhands who used to flirt with me. And the priest who preached at the church, who told us wonderful tales of paradise. And the children who'd skip stones on the lake and play hopscotch on the streets. Can't help but feel so lonely. The gravedigger's eyes begin to shine once she has finished her address with tears, but she does not let them fall. Amen, Tundra. She is being very brave, much more so than you are. So, Tundra, you weren't here earlier. What I want more than anything, at the end of this visual novel, I want to wrap this story so desperately by meeting the narrator. The narrator has given us so much to ponder about who and what she is. I really want that to be how this ends. Oh, okay. Okay, you were just lurking. Gotcha. I want so badly to. I really. Especially when she talks. The part that has me just the most curious of all of it is when she talks about humans. She says, you. Not we. You. That does not feel like an accident. At all. So I'm very excited. Anxiously, you extend your hand towards her, meaning to... what? Give her a hug. You do not know her well enough. Pat her head? That would be infantilizing. Oh, Abby! Oh, your vocabulary! I would assume it's not. I have to constantly remind myself to say we and us when referring to humans so as not to give myself away. It's quite difficult. I relate to this, Tundra. So greatly. And that's an interesting theory. Probably grabbing her shoulder is what your brain had in mind, maybe. Squeeze her hand. Perhaps that could be misconstrued as romantic overture, and that is the last thing you want. But is it though? You endured more than your fair share of teasing over that. You sit there for a few moments, paralyzed by indecision, as the gravedigger poorly suppresses her sniffles. In the end, you let your arm drop back to your side. Your hand rests upon your lap, as useful as damp kindling. Ooh, I like that analogy. That's awesome. You do not know what to do with it. You do know that you ought to say something, though, to show that you heard her plight and that you care. You do not know what this something should be, however. No words could ever console the gravedigger. They would never be enough. They can offer some balm, however, to the bereaved, and so, after a pause just long enough to be awkward, you offer your condolences. What else can you say? Oh no, the gravedigger replies, wiping a few stray tears away with the back of her arm. It's all right. I've grown used to it, really, being on my own. I mean, it ain't so bad, really. And I'm not alone now, at least. I've met you. You'll keep me company, won't you? Well, what can you say to that? You aren't callous enough to trample this poor girl's hopes, are you? You know full well yourself how awful that feels. You can do nothing but nod, a response which makes the girl smile more widely still. It's wonderful. I know you're just a traveler who's passing through, but I can offer you bread and board till you leave. I have food enough and spare bedroom. I can make it up for you right now. You must be tired after your long journey. Just give me a moment. Oh. The gravedigger rises to her feet in a flurry of excitement and retreats. You watch as she departs, a little too eager to please and frown. The girl's home is a small, humble one with a low ceiling and slanted walls. You cannot imagine such a small dwelling possessing a spare bedroom. This so-called spare bedroom is, in all likelihood, the room her father slept in before the plague carried him off. You do not think that you would much like to spend the night in the room of a dead man, but what choice do you have? You are tired, wretchedly so. Why, it is all you can do to keep your eyes open. While you were running through the forest, desperate to escape your pursuer, you had no thought in mind beyond finding some safe sanctuary in which you could recuperate. Oh, this is how we die. Plague, maybe. Although we've also been theorizing buried alive, which is also highly likely. But I don't know. We'll see. Now that you have found said sanctuary, it would be unreasonable to find faults with it. You ought to learn to be more thankful for what you have. There are many, many people in the world with less. Oh, how quaint. You rise and follow the gravedigger once she has finished her preparations to her so-called spare bedroom, which is every bit as cramped as you feared it would be. At least there's a bed, which comes as something of a relief. The rest of these lodgings are so humble, you are half expecting a straw pallet. As tired as you might be, you cannot lie to yourself. You have no desire to sleep among the hay like an animal. The sheets of the bed are clean, too, a fact you discern with a cursory glance. So, you will not be expected to sleep upon the sweat-soaked linen of a plague-ridden man, after all. This really is your lucky day. I got you this, too, Gravedigger says, somewhat shyly, as she hands you a folded gown. To sleep in. I thought it might come in handy. Your own clothes are, a little shabby. Bubba. Hey, Silver. She can say that again. Your skirt is covered in mud, and the hem is torn and ragged. This nightgown's one of my old ones, so it's suffered a bit of wear and tear, but I hope it'll fit all right. It's clean, if nothing else. You accept the nightgown from your benefactress with words of thanks. You want to sound appropriately appreciative, but you cannot mask your fatigue. Weariness overcomes you, and you yawn, the fact the Gravedigger does not fail to notice. Oh, begging your pardon, I don't want to keep you. I'll be making myself scarce. If you need anything, though, don't hesitate to ask. I'll be happy to help. The Gravedigger bows her head to you like a drudge, then hurries off, closing the door behind her with a thud. Tired though you are, you soon find that you rather miss your hostess's company. In the face of her good-natured smiles, you could almost forget all of the hardships you have hitherto endured. In her absence, however, your lodgings feel almost unbearably cold and inhospitable. You suppress a shudder, then unclothe yourself. You work as quickly as you are able, but your fingers are cold and they fumble with the buttons of your blouse. It takes you more time than you would like to complete this endeavor, but you soon have your shirt and your skirt dispensed with. You are too tired to fold them neatly, so you do not bother to fold them at all. Instead, you cast them carelessly upon the floor, as defiant as a sulky child, and then pull on your new nightgown. Your hostess's earlier warnings were apt enough. It is quite worn, but it fits well enough. It is more comfortable, at least, than your old uniform. You have endured worse. Newly dressed and ready for bed, you loosen your hair from your braids and settle down among the sheets. It is with a sigh you extinguish the weakly flickering candlelight which burns on your bedside, and with another sigh that you lay your head down upon your pillow. Though physically exhausted, you have to wonder whether you will be able to sleep at all. You can recall your previous dash through the forest in such vivid detail. Your heart is still pounding. That fear has yet to leave you. Perhaps it will never leave you. Your terror was such, it almost feels as though it has suffused itself into your bones, into your very being. But your exhaustion is greater than your worldly anxieties, and soon it claims you. Your eyelids fall shut, and your breathing inevitably begins to even out. It is not long until you are spiraling through a dark, deep abyss, lost in Morpheus's kingdom. But your sleep, despite your wearied state, is not as restorative as you had hoped. I see you, Silver. Your imagination has always been overactive. Even at the conservatoire, you were frequently beset by dreams of the most vivid nature. The dreams that you have this night, lying beneath unfamiliar sheets upon an unfamiliar bed, are no less intense than usual. In your dreams, you are back at the conservatoire. the place where this adventure of yours began. You are wearing the crisp white blouse you once discarded and your gray, unremarkable skirt. Your hair is tied in braids and your eyes are downturned, forever focused upon your feet. You tried not to look at your classmates, and you thought yourself fortunate if they did not look at you in return. You did not want anybody to notice you until that awful winter, that is, where everybody stopped paying attention to you for good. Nobody tried to trip you when you walked past them in the hallways. Nobody, in fact, so much as glanced at you. All of a sudden, there were no malicious whispers, no wicked laughter, no pulled hair, and no thrown objects. Kids are cruel. Kids are cruel. Bullying sucks. You were giddy with relief at first over this newfound means of tormenting you that your classmates had devised. But this little game, that of complete and utter disregard, continued and on and on and on as the days grew shorter and the nights grew longer. As the time passed, you began to fret as to the state of your own corporeality. Nice word. Aw. Yeah, Cassie was the same. She's fucking brutal. Could anybody still see you? Did you even exist at all? Then, at long last, you found it, quite by accident, the source of all of your woes. One of the girls had erected it in the forest through which you were sometimes bidden to jog for PE class, beneath the shade cast by an old oak tree. It was a makeshift tombstone, a small, meager monument made of stone, upon which your classmates had hewn a name. Your name. You knew at once, as you stood there, standing beneath the shade of that ancient tree, that this was the reason behind your classmates' silence. This was why they had, for many months, been ignoring you so assiduously. They had buried you. In their hearts, you had already died. Your eerie dreams notwithstanding, you sleep more comfortably than you had anticipated. All good, Libitina, welcome back. When you awake the following morning... Cool, Silver. Have a good one. When you awake the following morning to the sweet chirping of birdsong, you feel well rested, albeit woozy. Your head is aching. Uh-oh. It is nothing, however, that a cup of hot tea cannot fix. Oh wow, look at it all lit up. You stumble into the kitchen in your nightclothes, your hair loose and your feet bare, and the gravedigger turns to you. She looks at your face, which is pasty, and your under eyes, which are dark, and exclaims in the manner of one accustomed to solving problems, not complaining about them. Oh, you look awful. I think you need something warm to drink. Maybe you need something to eat, too? Let me get started on breakfast. And that is exactly what she does. She gets started on breakfast, which proves to be quite the simple affair. Nothing like the luxurious food you were accustomed to in your past life. The bread is hard enough to break your teeth on, and the cheese is a bit too strong. It is food all the same, though. You do not complain. Nose is itching. Your stomach was beginning to grumble. The tea is inoffensive, at least, and you drink it gratefully. You thank the gravedigger girl for her hospitality, and she smiles at you in return, a sunny smile, like a field of blooming bellflowers. It's no problem. Don't hesitate to ask me if you need anything else, she says, words which come to symbolize your relationship. You stay with the gravedigger for many, many more days, and, limited though her means might be, she always tries to help you. The gravedigger sets you chores about the house to keep you occupied, a fact for which you are grateful. You need to do something to keep your mind off your frantic flight through the forest. You can almost forget about it now during the day. During the night, however, it returns to you, the sound of your feet against the foliage and the swirling fog. When you sleep, you are assailed by nightmares. Sometimes you awake after midnight, the sheets twisted around your body and your mouth gaping open in a paroxysm of terror. Ebby, your vocabulary is wonderful. God damn it. I've always thought myself very well read, but Jesus, Ebby. Jesus. Ebby makes me look like a illiterate buffoon. It's very humbling. Though you try to tell yourself otherwise, you are still afraid. Being with the gravedigger makes you feel less so, though, particularly when you are sweeping the floor or keeping an eye on the bread loaves so they do not burn. You attend to most of the domestic chores, while the gravedigger concerns herself with the work she knows best, that is, digging graves. She's still digging new ones? Yes. Cool. Thank you for DMing me. Thank you. Excellent. Looking forward to checking that out. Good deal. Okay, buenas noches, Frick. We'll see you later. Her dogged persistence when it comes to this pursuit intrigues you, so much so that you cannot help but posit a question to her on one particular morning, when the sky is festooned with clouds. Why, you ask her, perhaps a touch insensitively, do you continue to dig graves? There is nobody left, after all, to dig them for. Very good question, though could lead to our death, but it's a very good question. You've always been practical, and you cannot see the point in it. What's the point in it? The gravedigger ponders, while holding her precious shovel to her chest. Fortunately, she does not seem upset by your question, despite its bluntness. You should count yourself lucky. Her temperament is so very placid. Don't suppose there is any point to it, really, the gravedigger eventually says, with a small smile. I know it doesn't have any practical purpose, but, well, digging graves is what my father did. Showed me how to do it so I could continue his legacy. My father wanted to keep our family tradition going. And I suppose I want to do the same. It's all there is to it, really. That's all, is it? You think you can understand that? Though your companion's actions might appear to be illogical, there is a kernel of reason nestled amongst them. She does not dig graves out of any sense of purpose. She does it, instead, out of sentiment. Right, Tundra? That's a very good point. Besides, I have to do something to keep myself busy, don't I? If I spent my days idling all on my own, I think I'd go mad. The gravedigger laughs at this, as though the prospect of her own madness is amusing. Her laugh, despite her slender stature. I knew we did good on this voice, guys. I knew we did good on this voice. Fuck. Her laugh, despite her slender stature, is not particularly delicate. It reminds you, perhaps unkindly, of the braying of a horse. For those just joining us, unfamiliar with Misha, it does sound a bit like the braying of a horse. I love this. What? Alright, one more. That's the last one. If I don't get yelled at for it, we'll see. You are ashamed of thinking such a thing, though, and your face flushes with the guilt of it. We cannot all be God damn, that's a word. Okay. We cannot all be well-bred young ladies, you know. Still, the laughter of the gravedigger, as it echoes through the grey, gloomy sky, is strangely desperate. It sounds forced. Her smile, too, is a touch unnatural, the rictus grin of a corpse. You find despite your attempts to return her laughter with a polite giggle, that you cannot. You cannot help but pity her. You retreat indoors briefly after your talk with the gravedigger, then set about some simple chores. Do not engage, Libitina. The gravedigger trusts you well enough to manage sweeping the floor, a task which does not take particularly long, and the preparing of meals, a task which takes slightly longer. It is not until much later, however, once the sun has already sunk beneath the horizon and the moon is high in the sky, that the gravedigger returns from the outdoors. She is windswept after many hours spent exposed to the elements, and there is dirt caked beneath her fingernails. The gravedigger removes her cloak, which she hangs by the door, then looks to the pot suspended over the fire which you stoked with your own fair hands. Nah, he's fine. The scent of cooking food, that of garlic and onions, fills the air, suffusing the interior of the kitchen in a homey aroma which makes your stomach rumble. Taking stock of this, hey Slayer, I did get your DM. I will check it after stream. But welcome, buddy. We're steadily working our way through this last route, and man, just so good. But welcome. So glad you're here. Enjoy. Taking stock of this, the gravedigger smiles at you, a toothy smile which, despite her status as a lowly peasant, is surprisingly clean and bright and white. Thank you so much, dear one. Oh, shit. Lads, she's using the 2 words. She's using those 2 words. Oh, shit. That's not good. Thank you so much, dear one. Yeah. In this visual novel, when the character that you are interacting with when the supporting character, when they start saying Dear One, Yandere mode has engaged and your death is coming soon. So, thank you so much, Dear One. There's nothing like returning home after a hard day's work to find dinner already prepared. Now let me give it a test. The gravedigger dips a spoon into the soup, then brings it to her lips. She blows upon it. Lewd. Sorry. Then she places the spoon into her mouth, a wooden utensil clacking against her teeth. No, sir. Not here. Never, ever. I mean, what respectable Yandere would not engage in the content of their archetype? You observe this with a touch of anxiety. Will she like the food which you have prepared for her? You have cooked for her before in the past, and she was always very complimentary of your efforts. Cooking is not your forte, however. You never had to concern yourself with it, really, growing up in relative comfort as you did. You think that you enjoy this rural, rustic mode of existence more than you did any of the privileges of your past life. Oh, God, that reminds me of a movie quote. I could do this. Oh, God. Oh, no. I'm gonna have to rewatch that movie because I've forgotten the quote. It's been so long since the last time I saw it. Movie is Gia. One of Angelina Jolie's very first films. Absolutely fantastic biopic about the late great model Gia Karanji. Really good film if you've never seen it. Trigger warning, there's a lot of drug use and a lot of sex. But it's a really great film. I highly recommend it. But there's a lot of drugs and a lot of sex, because model. At least now, with the gravedigger, you have a steadfast friend, a staunch ally. When you are with her, you are not alone. Amen, Tundra. Wait, no, I'm drug-free now. Stop it. When you are with her, you are not alone, and that is worth its weight in gold. The gravedigger exclaims, after drawing the spoon from her lips, her smile a bright, guileless one. It's delicious! Your face flushes at the compliment. You are unaccustomed to receiving them, and it makes you feel good. Shyly, you ask the gravedigger if she truly means that, a query which makes the gravedigger smile. Of course I mean it. You've become quite good at cooking, really. That is a relief. You were not very good at all. You were not very good at all of this cooking malarkey in the beginning. You did not know how to handle a knife, nor how to peel a vegetable, and you cut yourself more than once. The amount of times that Sinner cooks himself, the amount of times that Sinner cuts himself preparing food, for someone who literally is made a profession of preparing food, he cuts himself entirely too frequently. I give him a lot of shit for it. Oh no, you bled into the soup on several occasions, but never once did you throw the sullied soup out. Vampire. Total vampire. The gravedigger lives a humble existence, and she cannot afford to waste her precious ingredients. Too many, Libitina, that is a true statement. Your soups during your stay have all been seasoned with the slightest hint of iron. Today's soup, however, is a marked step above all the rest. You did not cut yourself with the knife, even once. Maybe your companion's compliments are not empty fluff. The other day, the girl I'm chatting with was cooking on stream, and before the stream, she asked what I thought would go wrong. I told her she was going to burn the steak. Well, she started cooking, and midway through, she grabbed a hot pan, burned her fingers. I immediately responded with, "Told you that you'd burn the tastiest thing in the kitchen." That's charming as fuck. Bravo, sir. Well done. Nice. I like that. That's very charming. That would have worked on me. Very nice. Maybe you really are improving. This soup should be ready to serve. I have some bread too, and we can eat it with. But I should brew some tea too. Let me. Ah, yes. The tea. You knew that you were forgetting something. You were so focused on the soup, it must have slipped your mind. Your face flushes yet again at this oversight, and shyly you offer to correct this oversight. The gravedigger, however, waves your request aside. No, it's all right. You made the dinner, so I'll brew the tea. It's only fair, and it won't take all that long. Would you mind serving up the soup while I'm busy? Of course you would not mind. You do enjoy making yourself useful. For a lady, you are awfully domestic. You work alongside the gravedigger to finish your nightly meal, and together you serve it, soup and bread, alongside 2 cups of piping hot tea, prepared by your hostess's own 2 hands. You sit together at the table, then partake in this simple fare, after saying grace. The soup really is quite good, despite it being made from only the most commonplace of ingredients. There is a bit of a kick to it, and it warms you from the inside out. The tea, meanwhile, is very soothing. So much so, it makes you feel rather sleepy. Uh-oh. Here we go, guys. You would like to sit with the gravedigger for a little while longer and tell stories, as you have sometimes in the past. That or play cards. The nights are long, and there's no better way to pass them than spending time with her. Yeah, I've been waiting for the tea or the food or something. Games of old maid, alas, will have to wait. You are too tired for it. You do not know what has happened, but after consuming your victuals, you feel utterly fatigued. You explain your predicament to the gravedigger between your yawns, and she nods in response. That's all right. You don't need to stay up with me, not if you ain't up to it. You should head off to bed and rest that pretty head of yours. You do not think you are particularly pretty, but you presume that the gravedigger is just regurgitating a phrase to you. She does not truly mean it. Nor could she. She is far prettier than you are. You thank the gravedigger for her understanding, and rise from the table. You retreat to the spare bedroom on trembling legs, and change out of your clothes. You have only just slid into your nightgown when you hear the rapping of knuckles upon your door, light and unobtrusive. This rapping could, of course, belong to but one person. It is the gravedigger, come to check up on you. I'm sorry, gravedigger says, her voice soft. But you rushed to your room so soon after eating. I couldn't help but worry about you. Would you mind if I took a look at you? I just want to see if you're all right. Here we go. The gravedigger is trying to keep her voice steady, but you can hear it wavering regardless. She really does sound concerned, so much so she could very well be on the brink of tears. You do not want her to cry for you. You would feel horribly guilty if you upset her, even inadvertently, given all that she has done for you. You bid the gravedigger entry into your room, therefore, without delay, an invitation she hastens to take. The door swings inwards with a creak, and there your hostess stands, still attired in black, her clothes a stark contrast. That should be contrast, I think. Her clothes a stark contrast to your pure white, well, off-white, nightgown. The gravedigger looks at you, seated in bed with your hair freed from your usual braids, and exhales. Is that relief, you wonder, playing about her face? But why? What was she expecting to see exactly before entering your bedchamber? Thank you for letting me in, Gravedigger says, toying with her fingers. How do you feel? Not too terrible, you reassure her. There are no particular problems with your health. You just feel tired. Oh, are you sure you're not sick? Your face does look a bit pale. That would be nothing out of the norm. You are always pale. True. Now, is there anything I could do for you? Would you like something warm to drink, or maybe a hot brick to place in your bed? It should keep you warm. You appreciate your hostess's thoughtfulness, but you reassure her that this won't be necessary. You will be fine. Yeah, poor thing. God, PTSD is a bitch. I hope so. I thought that about my father, too, before he... Gravedigger begins, but her voice soon trails off. She does not finish that thought. She does not need to. You know now what she was thinking of before she entered your bedroom. Right? Absolutely. Cold, clammy skin, a sweating brow, rank, oozing pustules. You think upon these symptoms, which are eerily similar to those recounted during the Great Plague, once you beset your own country, and God, let me start over. Try this again. You think upon these symptoms, which are eerily similar to those recounted during the Great Plague, which once beset your own country, and you shudder. If you don't want anything, then I'll be on my way, the gravedigger says. But before that, this was just a fancy on my part, but I was wondering, would you mind if I brushed your hair for a little while? Your hair? That's right. It's such a pretty shade of red is all. I just thought, well, it's just a fancy, really. You don't have to let me, not if you don't want to, but I thought it might help you relax if you're feeling under the weather. I've heard it's supposed to be soothing. Great Plague is usually referred to when bubonic, yes, 1664, so this must be after that. Gotcha. That is what the gravedigger says, but you have the distinct feeling that she is the one looking for solace here. It is very soothing. It is a pastime that Sinner has discovered he greatly enjoys. And so I take great pleasure when, like, I notice him starting to kind of, like, untie my ponytail or my bun, whatever I have at the time. Because, like, he enjoys it a lot, and he's gotten very, very good at navigating the rat's nest that is my head. But it's really cool. She is not quite so selfless, perhaps, as she would like you to think. Aw. But she has been so very good to you, and has done so very much for you, and you do not want to begrudge her this small self-indulgence. D fucking calling my brother out, man. Someone else needs to learn. Damn, bruh. I find that hard to believe, though, by how medieval or early Renaissance like the setting of this. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I don't know. He'll have to accost Sinner for those tips. But yeah, it's, I don't know, the period in which we are experiencing this, it feels very much like our protagonist has gone back in time. But yeah, but yeah, you rather think she deserves it. You agree. Therefore, to her request, and upon doing so, you are certain you have made the right choice. Your hostess's face lights up immediately in a manner which makes you blush. Oh, thank you. It'd be my honor. Now, let me fetch my brush. The gravedigger retreats from your room in a hurry, but returns soon thereafter, holding in her right hand the promised brush. This artifact acquired, the gravedigger then settles herself upon your bed by your side. She looks at your hair for a few moments, her expression pensive. Then she announces that she will begin. The gravedigger leans in. A wooden frame of the bed creaks under her weight, a creak which melds with the sighing of the breeze outdoors. You can feel the bristles of the brush running through your hair. It is soothing enough, so much so it makes you shiver. The sensation is a pleasant one, and somewhat nostalgic. Okay. Charles II was King of England at the time, and guns and muskets were invented by then. The Pilgrims were running Parliament. Though it could still refer to bubonic hitting other parts of the world colloquially, which started as early as the 1300s. Interesting. I did not know that much. Did your mother do this for you, you wonder, when you were a little girl? If she did, it must have been when you were a very little girl. You have not seen your mother in quite some time. Not after you were enrolled at the conservatoire. Oh, you have such lovely hair, dear one. It's so soft, just like silk. Not at all like mine. Mine is so coarse. This gentle voice draws you out of your vague, half-formed reminiscences. It started in the Middle East in the early 1300s and slowly spread west over the next 300 years. Fascinating. I did not know that. It sounds as though the gravedigger is lost in nostalgia of her own, because her voice, when next she speaks, is dreamy. Abby, thank you for giving me instructions on how to voice your wonderful masterpiece. I genuinely appreciate every single one. I think my mother used to brush my hair like this for me, back when she was still alive. Must have been a long time ago, though. It is funny, you think, as the bristles of the brush continue to slide through your tresses, that you and the gravedigger should both be reminiscing in tandem about your respective mothers. Perhaps there is something maternal in the act of brushing one's hair, which is wont to summoning forth such images. You would not know, personally. You can't. Okay. Hold on. I would not know, personally. I cannot remember my own mother at all. I got chills. Oh. Oh, that gave me chills. Ooh. Oh. Oh shit. Oh, uh, 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 That gave me chills. Holy shit. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ooh. What happened, Slayer? This whole time, our narrator, while they have behaved with a certain amount of sentience and personality, our narrator has never once spoken about themselves. Not once. Every single time they talk about an individual, they talk about the character. They talk about the protag. They say you. They don't say we. They don't say I. They say you. That was the first occurrence where our narrator spoke about themselves. Oh, I got chills. Yeah. Oh, okay. Told you. Oh, oh, fuck. That, oh, I glazed right past it. Uh-huh. 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 Tundra, you won. Oh my god, yes. Whew. Oh. Okay. Whoo, baby. Nani? Okay, it took less than 5 years to sweep the continent. First wave, which we call the Black Death, spread like wildfire and may have started from merchant ships traveling from... Oh. Okay. Wow. God, that's fast. That's so fast. Okay. Whew. It's really fast when you consider that flight was not a thing that existed yet at the time. People were not boarding airplanes and dispersing illnesses that way. It was strictly by boat. So the fact that that happened so fast, you know what? Yes. Because I was just sitting here looking at the time like, yeah, and horse. But yeah, now that we know that this is about to get real, break is a good idea.